there it goes. Oh, yes. So, I'm here after 20 years of prayer. Not my prayers, my mom's prayers. Woo! 10 years ago, I was liberated from a relationship of abuse. And I found that liberation on my own. I found that empowerment on my own, that freedom on my own. Not realizing that all that was counterfeit empowerment, counterfeit freedom, counterfeit liberation. But that's what the world teaches. For us to go out there and experience the world and one love, it doesn't matter who you love. Boy, girl, doesn't matter. That's what they teach us. And so I wanted to share a poem by Jackie Hill Perry that really ministered to my heart, to my spirit. And after that, a dance that speaks of my own testimony. Amen. I pray that this blesses you. Amen. The other day, a young lady, brown as the melanin in my daughter's eyes, said behind a mic that she hated being a woman. She wanted to know what it meant to be one. I often wondered the same. Looked around for the teachings of such to tell me of myself. We all learn to be by imitation or indoctrination. Mama and media can't help but train, tutor us into carbon copies of themselves, so then knowing who we are or what we should be is really understanding whose costumes we wear on most days, whose skeletons we switch with when Adam took his nap. I was told that a woman was independent, autonomous, that she needed not a man or moon to keep her in orbit, that she moved about as wind and breeze, lived without needing permission to interrupt that which was still and under restraint. I was told that a woman cannot truly be herself, that is, if her skin isn't light enough or dark enough, or if her hair is no Rapunzel replica. I was told that my body was neither belonging of me or its beauty innate, but that I am not gorgeous unless told by another woman's son to be so. When did the mouth of men, and whose image women are not made in, begin to damage us so silently? Maybe it was when we began believing the voices that have no deity in it. I was told that a woman should not submit, should not be meek, that type of behavior was only for women who treated their voice like a secret. I was told not to be a secret, but a siren, to be as machete as I can in honoring my opinions at the expense of respect. While some men may believe themselves to have liberty over a woman's body, as taught how to destroy, as only depravity could predict, we women have equally learned how to tear and rip and undo dignity with a mere sentence or squint. It's called being strong by society. Wow. They told us that is what a backbone looks like. But beautiful is the spine that remembers where it came from. Yes. That lets us, knowing of self, not be determined by every wind of doctrine and dust, but by God himself. Yes. We must unlearn the deep misunderstandings that compose themselves as empowerment, as freedom. Liberation never came by way of unbelief. Eve did not obtain life by finding beauty in lies, but only a naked body and a husband that forgot her first name. We women must be smarter, must be wiser, must be bent on loving truth no matter how contradicting it is to a dying culture. I tell you, a woman is no fool unless she chooses to be. If you ask me, what is a woman? I will tell you, she is a bone made alive with distinctions that set her apart, as is the difference between a firefly and a new poem. A woman is not a man. Her calling is not the synonym of inferiority. Her distinctions are not the child of patriarchy. They come from a creative God. Did you see his fingerprints in your hips? The whistling shadow of his mind when your body became home to another name that called you mommy. Where all the gladness you forgot could exist. A woman submits to her God, to her husband, to her church. She is not a weak-willed, brittle-backed woman, but only as strong as dignity and faith can identify her to be. They say submission sounds like servant. They say that sounds like something to rebel against, but isn't it funny how being a servant is repulsive to everyone but God? And we wonder why we can't recognize his face. If you ask me, what is a woman? I will tell you, she is a sister to all. Even those whose blood is not of the same roots, but who is still as kin as her mama's firstborn. And she treats these sisters like a winter quilt, making sure that her mouth does not unstitch that which was made to keep cold hearts warm. We are made up of nurture and everything comfortable. And that is why we feel so deep. That's why we cry so sudden. Because the emotions that make us women do not make us unstable, but turn us refuge to the chaos where our ribs once sat. We are necessary and nuanced at best. But a woman should be nothing more or less than what God made her to be. If you ask me, what is a woman? I would tell you, ask the God that made her.